Well, so Meteor is now on the road and so are we. The thump is back. Yes, you heard it right. So Royal Enfield has recently launched the Meteor 350. Now I am here to just check that whether it ticks all the boxes. Has RE managed to retain the magic of 650 twins, the Interceptor and the Continental GT this time too? Has Meteor managed to become a good version of Thunderbird X? कितना देती है? क्या ये लद्दाख जाएगी? So well, I am here to answer all of these questions, so stay tuned till the last of this video. So if you are more interested in knowing that how this bike looks and what all accessories the company provides, then I would highly recommend to go through my previous videos. I will link them in the I button above. Now quickly move on to the ride review for this bike. So I've ridden this bike for around almost 150 kilometers now, and it was with me for around 5-6 hours. So starting off with some specs, so this Royal Enfield Meteor 350 is powered by a 349cc engine. It generates a power of 20.4 PS at 6100 RPM. That is quite a lot for a Royal Enfield, and a torque of 27 Newton meter at 4000 RPM. Good thing. So let's get moving to the city review first. So when we are talking about the city performance, the main highlight feature is the weight. So the weight of the bike is 191 kg, still on the heavier side, but you will be surprised to see that it is 6 kg lighter than the previous Thunderbird, which is a good achievement. And despite of 191 kg, you can see the saddle movement. You can easily maneuver this bike. So when you sit on the bike, this 191 kg will not be felt because the saddle movement and the low center of gravity of this motorcycle takes a good advantage and makes it a good city companion. And due to not so much weight on the top end of the bike and a wide handlebar, you get a good ergonomics of the bike in the city. You can easily maneuver the bike in the traffic, but yes, it's a big bike. By size, I mean it's a big bike, and you need a bit of time to get used to of this bike in maneuvering in the traffic. You can put your feet down very easily. Now, first time in the Royal Enfield, you're getting a seat height of 765 mm. That is pretty low for a Royal Enfield. But good to know that the short riders, I mean at least of height 5 feet 5 inch or 5 feet 4 inch, they can easily manage this bike on the highway as well as on the city. Making U-turn on this bike is pretty easy. It's highly due to the steering range. Now you get a steering range more than the previous bikes, so that you will not feel hassle on this bike while taking a U-turn. Potholes, bad roads, it's a easy settle for Meteor 350. So it is highly due to the suspension setup. So the front suspension is bit soft, so bad roads not a hassle, and the rear is bit firm, but you will get a sofa like experience at least for the rider. All in all, good suspension. Kudos to Royal Enfield. Now moving on to the back seat, which is not so comfortable as compared to the front seat, the front sofas. The pillion may get tired while on the long rides, but on the city I think it is adequately comfortable. And when I compare this seat with Interceptor or Continental GT or any of the Royal Enfield bike, so the pillion seat is quite comfortable. Moving on to the engine, a new heart the Royal Enfield says. So it is a new air oil cooled 349cc HOSC engine. So a characteristic long stroke engine a fuel injected producing smooth power and plenty of bottom and torque. The new counterbalance motor is super smooth. There is no chain primary drive, no push rods, anything. So now this engine is super smooth and you can get quick acceleration as compared to the previous engine, the previous 350 engine. Due to all these changes, so the engine is more responsive, super smooth and more efficient. The torque spread on this motor is so good that even in the 5th gear you can go under 40 km per hour and then open the gas and you will feel the low torque in this engine, that how beautifully it takes from 40 to 80 on the same gear. Not too many gear changes, no hassle, nothing, everything is super fine. Almost about 25 Newton meters of torque, you can get it from as low as 2000 rpm, commendable. You can easily overtake in the cities. However, for the quick accelerations you need to downshift, but now the downshift is not a hassle much because the clutch is super light and the gear shift is super sleek. So yes, you have good combination of gear and clutch. As compared to previous 350 motor, so the power is bit more and the torque is bit less. The earlier 350 motors, all the classic 350 and the Thunderbird 350, they struggles to go to 0 to 100, but now this motor you can easily look at that how it rev through 0 to 100 and how easily you can take this motor to 100 kph, and that is a very good improvement because lot of the buyer will consider this bike for touring and long highway rides. So this bike, yes, I can say can easily cruise to 100 and you can take it to 110. At 120 you feel that the motor is feeling bit stressed. The Meteor engine uses shorter stroke design, so it rev better and you have 1000 rpm more added to as compared to the previous engine. So now you have the peak power coming at the top 6100 rpm. The highway touring of this motorcycle, so this is a super smooth bike. The engine has a wide rev range. You can easily get the power from 1000 rpm, 2000 rpm till the 6000 rpm, so that's a very wide rev range. And the torque spread is really good. You get about 80% of the torque at as low as 2000 rpm, and high revving is not a problem now as compared to the previous Royal Enfield. In the last gear, the last bit of the throttle, if you pull that, you still get the performance. On the highway, 90 to 105, very comfortable and you will not feel any hassle. If we are considering the highway cruising, so let us talk about the range. So in the Meteor you get approximately 42 kmpl of mileage, and apart from that the tank range is around 15 liters. You get a good range of above 550 kilometers on a tank full, and which is sufficient to take you from Tandi to Leh. Well, talking about Leh, most of you will be interested. So yes, definitely it will go to Ladakh. And to support my answer, so here we have a 170 ground clearance, which is good enough. And apart from that, you get a 1400 millimeter of wheelbase, which will give you a good stability on highways. Also, you are getting a good amount of torque in low RPM, so climbing a high pass is not a problem as such when it compared to the previous 350 motor. Picking up the new Meteor 350 to Ladakh is not a hassle anymore, and you get enough torque and punch for a 350 engine. And most importantly, you get tubeless radial tires, which give you a good road grip on the highways, and fixing of puncture is not a hassle anymore because now you get the tubeless tires. Talking when you take this bike into the corners, now the leaning is much more easier and super quick. So this is highly due to the radial tires, the good grip tire, and the double cradle frame. The double cradle frame gives a good stability and the flexibility while cornering. A total setup will give you a good confidence when you lean this bike into corners. Talking about the brakes, you get bigger and better brakes. So as compared to the classic 350, the BS6 variant, the braking experience is really good. You get very good bite, but you need to use more force for emergency cases because it is a bit soft initially. So you need to pull the lever more hardly to get the best bite out of it in the emergency cases. So this bike comes from 60 to 0 in under 3 seconds. That's a very good thing, and the brakes are performing really good. Also, the rider seat is very nice. It is very good. Seat is very good in quality, and it is very good when it comes to long rides on highway. However, for the pillion is not the same. When you compare it with the city comfort, it is adequate enough, but for the highways, the pillion will feel bit stress. Also, talking about the seating position of this bike, so it is very comfortable, and as you can see, you get a low cruiser stance that is really good for long rides. And talking about the tall people also, so my height is 5'11", so I was able to get a good leg space in this bike. I feel that the tall people will not feel crunched for the space on this bike. The exhaust note is super amazing. You can feel the thumb, and the exhaust design is clean due to the clever collector box design that is behind the exhaust, and you get a clean look of the exhaust that looks very good. And the exhaust note, as you can Also, talking about the instrument cluster, that is a very good instrument cluster. You get lots of info on this instrument cluster. So you get a gear position indicator, apart from that a time. On the right hand side, it can be used for navigation. It is connected via Bluetooth. The brightness on this instrument cluster is really good. I can easily read all the information. It is super bright at the bright sunny days. Overall, Meteor 350 is a good package. Royal Enfield is bang on this time. They have provided their best 350 motorcycle till date. I would highly recommend, if someone is looking for a good 350 motorcycle, then this is the good option for them. A smooth engine, no vibration at all, a good performance, all at once. Royal Enfield has finally delivered what it was expected long back with Thunderbird. So I see in the recent time all the brands have launched 300 to 350cc motorcycles in the segment. Bikes are more in demand now. I think there is a direct competitor to this bike, that is Honda Highness 350. with a good motor and a retro looks. It provides a good package. So if you want a comparison between Honda Highness and Meteor 350, then please let me know in the comment section below. Now enough talking for this video. I'm going to end this video. Please subscribe to my channel for more updates regarding the motorcycle and the motor world, and please use the comment section for your queries. I will see you in my next video. Until, stay safe and ride hard. This is Mr. Motonator signing off.